Welcome back to the Let's Get Blunt podcast. We are on episode 15, I believe. I think last week we took a break, but we are back with a new format. This format is going to be a little bit similar to previous formats, but it's going to be more intentional on helping the specific individual get through some of the cycles that are reoccurring. For those who do not know, I am a strategic energy analyst. So what I do is I am able to see your energy, see your coding, and tell you what's getting in the way of you getting to what you desire. I do that via my soul code readings. Um, and so what you're going to be seeing here is just a mini soul code reading, but in a more conversational tone. You can book your own soul code reading. Link will be below to book a soul code reading if that's what you desire. And again, today we're going to talk about our sponsor, Golden Earth Botanics. Golden Earth Botanics is an alternative dispensary who puts your healing first. It is no THC, CBD, hemp, terpene derived, smoke blends, and tinctures to help you navigate life. Most of my chronic illness warriors, everything from libido enhancement to sleep support and pain management and things like that. So that website is goldenearthbotanics.com, goldenearthbotanics.com, and it will be below. Today, our guest is Miss Famira. How are you, my love?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes. Introduce yourself so that they know.
All right. Well, hi, everybody. I am Famira. I am a community-focused brand coach. And so I help women entrepreneurs to build their communities based on their sacred true self. I do this by introducing them to their gene keys and to their own unique brilliance code, so that they are not only attracting the people that they desire to work with, but they're doing so in a way that's actually in alignment with who they actually were divinely designed to be. So that's me.
Excellent. Excellent. So with the new format, I have the guests write intentions. They go through my Manifestation 101 course and they write intentions. And we talk about their intentions beforehand. So I already know her intentions for herself. So the very first thing that comes up when I was listening to your intentions are what's stopping you from having those things, right? Because a lot of those intentions weren't something that can be given to you by someone else. That's internal. Most of them are internal initiated things. So what do you feel prevents you from doing them?
I think most of it right now is I think there are some aspects of like I think there's some levels of self-doubt, and can I actually like be that great, right? Because I've dealt with a life of like up and down. There's always kind of like this feast or famine mode. So I think there is some of that. And then also the other pieces for the level that I really want to experience these things at is the financial piece, right? The money in order to really be able to live that out. So I think those are the two things that come up most for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not just the like making of the money, but the stability of it being like a consistent thing, always coming in.
Okay. So also what I'm hearing from Spirit as one of the codes that is coming up for you, at least in this season, is your fear of letting go what you built. because it feels like I spent so much time building this. I spent so much energy building this. And it feels like maybe you're attempting to massage your current business or your current structure to fit what you know Spirit is leading you into, and it's not working. And then there's this fear of moving away from what you spent years building and never saw I can't say you never seen it, but you never got to the point where you were like, I made it, right? Mm-hmm. And so for you it feels like you're quitting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a trigger for you, right? Because you're not a quitter. And so stopping to start something new feels just like, I don't know whether you've been called wishy-washy or sporadic or whatever. And so you're forcing yourself to stay true based on a lot of that negative reactions to people whenever you did jump and hop around, right? So you're just like, this can work. I know it can because I've seen it. I've tasted it. Why isn't it consistent? And Spirit is like, because there's an elevation to it. And does that make sense? Like why you're scared to move on? It feels like a shedding of layers, but you're scared to take it off, you know?
So I have recently been like changing my entire like business structure or business model.
Right.
And I know that it is more of the business model that I'm supposed to move into, but I would say there definitely are like pieces, remnants of like how I've done business before that I have kind of been trying to make work or like hold on to.
Right.
Partially, I hadn't thought about it in the way in which you're saying it, but that makes sense. But and also because of the fact that I actually enjoy it, right? Like I actually enjoy that type of work. So like one of the things is I'm definitely moving into more membership based things because that's where I've been feeling like the pull, which of course then means that, like the memberships that they have me doing are more of a lower price point, which means that in order for me to like accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish financially, that it has to be larger numbers. That is different from me because I'm used to working with smaller numbers of people at higher dollar amounts. So there is that level of like scary of like, am I going to be able to get these numbers into this space? So there is that part of me that's still holding on to some of the higher things. Mm-hmm. My mind is to like offset that possibility, but I can see where like holding on to that is hindering me from really like going all in on the membership side. So it does definitely make sense.
So
I was gonna need this drink.
You already know, like you already know what it's gonna be like. You're one of the original OGs. So what I hear is you're scared, and I'm talking to me at the same time. There's a fear of removing the internet marketer expert coach jacket. Because then what am I? They're like, it doesn't feel solid, and that's why you're hesitant. You're like, if I strip myself of this label of coach, then what am I? Right? And I'm going to give you the same advice that I gave Jay, my mini. Labels are for other people to understand you. Right. You can just do what you do. Right? But then strategy focused individuals, it fucks us up so much because even in manifestation, we're trying to dress shit. So it's like, I'm gonna do this and this is gonna happen and we're gonna do this, and then it doesn't. And then we're so distraught because we thought we saw it, right? It's like, I saw this. And one of the pieces of code that is hindering you is while people may think you're flighty, you're not. And there's a lot of internal resistance to shift and change. And of course, I'm gonna release it, but you got to be okay releasing it, right? It feels like this rubber band, like yo-yo kind of thing. Like you'll step out there, and then the moment anything happens that feels like the rug could be pulled from underneath of you, you snap back. You're like, not even, right? And then so it feels like you're starting a lot of things and not finishing them, which then diminishes your there's a fly sitting right on the phone. Like it's just chilling. That's the ancestors.
I was like, hey.
Right. It diminishes your capacity to believe that you know what you're doing. Because it feels like I'm starting and stopping, starting and stopping. And then that also triggers that you're flaky trigger that you have. Where does that come from?
I think part of it has come from because it's my whole like corporate career. I was definitely the person that was like, I didn't really work anywhere anymore longer than like 3 years. I think before my business, I maybe made it 5 years somewhere. And so I never was the person that like found a job, stay there, be working there 10, 12, 15 years like my friends or even like my parents. And so there was always this thing of like, why you can't keep a job. And it was like, I can't keep a job. Don't want to keep this job. Right. And so I would move to do something else and be like, okay, I learned what I wanted to learn from here. Now I want to move on to somewhere else where I can learn something else, or or make more money or whatever the case may be. And so there's always been that like you don't stick to anything when it comes to like the job aspect, right? And so like literally my business is the longest job that I've had, right? Because I'll celebrate 10 years in November. And so and also me understanding my gene keys too, I do feel like the work itself that I'm doing is my life's work. And so in that space of life's work, it activates my determination. So there is kind of like this energy of like the dog with the bone that won't turn it loose, type of thing of like, this is my life work. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I think from, this conversation now, the piece that I have to look at is like, I still am doing this life's work, but it doesn't always have to continuously look the same.
Right. And also, what if you were put here to do all the things that you're doing? It's one thing, and I had this talk with my mom about it. I said, you just retired and you get a pension, right? There was no pension for us. We don't get retirement, that we don't pay into ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, my eyes just smoke out in my eye. So there was no reason for you to stay at those jobs. Your parents and everything has a different perspective because they had incentives,
right,
for longevity at certain places. You did not. Are you a manifesting generator? What are you?
So I'm an emotional generator. But I operate like a manifesting generator because literally in my chart, there's like 3 different locations that if any one of those 3 things would have been activated, I would have been a manifesting generator. So everybody always asks me that. Are you a manifestation?
Yeah, because like
I very much so operate.
our literal energy is our job on this earth is to try all the things, figure out what works, what doesn't, and then tell everybody else what works so they don't have to navigate through those. That's why we fell into coaching. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so we are to, in order to shift the masses, we have to be out front. So you probably are also running into the idea of everything you start is so innovative and so setting of a trend that you spend a lot of time educating people on the way that you do it or your concept. And then by the time people are like on it, your brain is somewhere else, right? So what you can do, and I set your shit to evergreen so that when people start popping up on it, they can still consume your version of it without you having to still be in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's probably what they're pushing you towards now, putting all your shit on evergreen because I got the same message.
Yeah, so there's definitely this, and that's part of the push of the memberships too, because they hold like the, depending on which one you go into based on what you need, like they hold all of the teachings are inside of those,
Right.
have been done previously. But there is also this big push for like digital product, type stuff. And leaning more into like the digital courses and stuff like that people can just, so yeah, it makes sense.
So going back to the earlier ages of, online coaching and things like that, I think your energy is best used now for yourself. Okay. And what I mean by that is, and this is going to trigger you a little bit, is to remove yourself from in front and let them watch the replays. You know what I'm saying? And you can give commentary, meaning you pop up here and there to either do your marketing and all that. But other than that, removing your energy. We are moving from coach to platform, right? And it's easy to say we have a platform. We do. But when I'm talking about going from sort of like a network. You know what I'm saying? And so when I say this, it's like the Ayala Van Zants, the Oprahs, those are platforms. They are not talking to people on the phone,
right?
Coaching them through their whatever, right? It's gonna trigger you, and you already said it does, because the lower price points, right? But that also gives people the initiation to be able to do it, right? And show up in it. We are in this age where people want to reach their goals, and so they're seeking ways, but they're also jaded. The coaching industry got people jaded. So, investing high dollar amounts, right? But then with us, our mission is to activate as many people as we can within our lane. High dollar amount don't fit that.
Right.
Right. And so in your mind, you're saying, I can't reach the level that I desire to reach at whatever price point, right? Because you're worried about clients. When you're building a platform, you can get sponsors, you can get grants, You could get contracts. Like there's so much there. There's so much more to it, but our brain is so hyper focused on what we've been doing the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard to release it because your brain says, nah, that can't work, because it's worried about, all we've ever been is worried about getting clients and leads and things like that.
Right.
And when we switch to a more platform where we're giving away more, it's real triggering. And so that's something you're going to have to release, because you're going to be giving away more. And it goes against everything that we've been doing, right? That is one of your biggest hurdles. It's going to be hard. Just push through. You know how this goes. There's no turning it off for the most part, right? But telling yourself it can work. There are people out there that sell low ticket things that are millionaires, right? It's about your platform,
right?
You know, and there's so many ways that you can earn money, even if you don't have clients, right? So, and you don't have to figure out how. And I know that's why your brain is like trying to connect dots now. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I could do this. You don't even need to know how. All you need to do is move in the energy of what your spirit told you to do. That's it. And that's all. And they can figure it out for you. All your prayers should be for the resources, right? Whatever that is, whether that is someone coming in the door, whether that is the money, whether that is the energy, whether that is the creativity, you know, whatever that is, tell spirit, I'm prepared to walk this walk. Just show me the way and give me the resources. That's your job, is to just show up in it. And I don't think this is going to be too much of your trigger, but it may come in, is having it be just right. Right? Having, because you know what we do. We're used to this. This is what we do, our lifeblood. So it's nothing for me to create a course experience.
Right.
And go all out, and it's going to do this, and we're going to have 80 million videos, and it's going to do this whiz bang thing, and da 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 da. Right. Remember, most people don't even use that shit. So don't waste your energy doing what people aren't even going to fucking use. Right? So have your PDFs be straightforward. You know? It could be branded, but don't expend the energy on all the unnecessary things. You have to ask yourself, do we need to do it this way, or do I just desire to do it this way? Because those are two different things. So when Spirit says start, for me with the podcast, it was like, I want, you know, the couch up against the wall, and I'm going to need to do this. And Spirit had to be like, pause, bitch. We didn't say all that. We said start your podcast. And this is what it ended up being. This corner of my house was already done. I just sat a chair in front of it. You know what I'm saying? And this is what it is until I can expand to what I truly desire. But this ain't bad. You know, it meets the objectives. The objective is to put your information out there. And then that would get rid of a lot of, what do I do every day? What do I do every day? Now, all you would have to do is speak your platform, and then have ways for people to learn on their own. The season is about you, right? Most of your stuff should be learned on their own. And if you are taking on clients, those should be your private one-on-one, high ticket. I would say high ticket, but not to where it's overtaxing your energy. because you don't have it. That's the other thing too. Sometimes we try to act outside of our energy. And I think that's what you're doing right now. And it's just like, because you know what you're capable of, but you don't have the energy for it. So you're promising on your capabilities, but then when it's time to show up in it, you don't have the energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So pull back, because you're burnt out. It just is what it is. Most of the healers here are just burnt out. The last 3 years was super heavy on healers. I mean, we kept people going. And now people are getting back into the groove of things, and we're left like fucking depleted. Right? So it's time for you to reel back. You can't give of yourself what you don't have. And then you just become resentful of the offers that you have because you don't really want to show up. It's you do, but you don't. Like, I want to do the work high level, right? Conscious self is like, yeah, I love the work that I do. But in the moment, your body and your energy is just like, ugh. And that is a resistance in and of itself, right? Because I'm running into the same thing. It's like, why are clients drying up? Because, bitch, you don't really want them. And then you don't even really have the energy for it. You just want the result of it, which is income. And that's not bad because that's why you work, right? That's why you go to work. But then we could just shift our energy to bring me the resources. If that's what you want out of it is the resources, then switch your energy from I want clients, because you don't want clients. You want resources, right? And so then we can put our energy exactly where it needs to be, and we no longer have that resistance. The resistance is because while I love the work that I do in this moment, I don't have the capacity. I have no desire to do it. I really don't give a fuck about these motherfuckers' problems. You know, it's like all this stuff is bubbling up. And so why would spirit then send you people? Knowing that it's just like, they're not going to have the experience that they desire. It might have a bad reflection on your business, you know. And so while we are frustrated while that we're not bringing in people, it's just, no, spirit is trying to save us from ourselves, health, business, all that, reputation. You know, because the internet street. So yeah. I think that is it working?
Okay, that's back. You was freezing up.
Oh, was I? Mm-hmm. You know, you know how that goes.
Right. It's like the energy is energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no. But I was following what you were saying. And, you know, on some levels, definitely very true. In regards to like the energy shift, like I am noticing like there are certain things that do light me up, you know, more like when I do get to like, so like in my memberships, I do have that aspect of like where we have like a live coaching session or like Q&A session. Mm-hmm. Those super light me up. Like I like doing that aspect of it. But you know, but there are some other aspects of like publicly wise, doing a whole lot of like longer live streams and stuff like that, where I'm just like, I'm not trying to do that. So, so like getting back, like focused on maybe like reels, you know, some things that are like shorter span, like even when it comes to like writing, cause you know, I'm a writer. When it comes to that, it's like trying to sit down and like actually write out like a post or something. It's like, I don't want to get somebody else.
If you're a Phoenix, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So my Phoenixes are my most hard-hitted ones. Like, I love y'all to death because y'all go hard. Like, you do. But when that sizzles out, because y'all are just all fire energy, right? So when you feel as though you're not on your mark, you just want to go harder because, like, what the fuck? Da, 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 da. But your guys' manifestations are literally created in your rest period, but y'all refuse to fucking rest, right? And it's just,
Yeah.
and when you do rest, it's usually forced rest to where now you're stressing and worried because you're sick,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I have gotten better in that regard. So like there's certain things that I actually only do like at night. Like I'm like, okay, because of that. So it's like because what I notice is that is like when my best ideas come, when most of the innovation comes. So like I purposely will be like, okay, it's time to go to bed. I lay down in bed, not necessarily just like go to sleep just yet, but just to get my body in that like state of rest. And then I do find that I can like, I'll write I'll be able to write stuff or like something will come up. Like right as I'm trying to go to sleep, I'll get an idea. So I'll just pick up my phone and kind of just write it out. Same thing happens in the morning. So just allowing myself like when I wake up, I don't rush out of bed anymore. So like I wake up, I literally like lay in bed for probably about an hour now of just like there and just kind of meditating, just kind of letting like whatever wants to flow through and do this thing. So I ain't saying that I'm 100% with it, but I definitely am a lot better with it. Like I'll go take my nap,
Good.
different things like that, because I definitely have learned my lesson around the fact of like I will get shut down. And then on top of it being a phoenix in my gene keys, the thing that keeps me healthy, the shadow side of that is exhaustion.
Right.
So it's like that.
And so this is what I will tell you as a workaround in your business, because you need a lot of restoration. And it's not saying you did anything wrong. In fact, it's just saying that you've been on for so long that you need rest that can't be done in overnight. You know what I'm saying? It's not I need a vacation kind of rest where it's like, I'm going to take 3-5 days off. And when I get back, I'll be good. This is more of a long term. I just need to rejuvenate my mind, body, and spirit. So this next phase of your business should accommodate that. And that's why we are talking about the evergreen stuff, because you won't have to be on. A lot of this stuff can be batched, pre-recorded, and you can actually go out and garden during the day. Like you need days of your ability to just exist without having to pour out so much energy. So I would say at least for the next 6 to 8 months, that's what your business should look like. And since it is in alignment, you'll be surprised at the opportunities that might show up for you, right? Because you can teach in other people's programs, right? You could go viral on TikTok. Like there's a lot of things that can happen as long as we follow the intuitive nudges and what spirit has for you. And I know you're deeply connected, right? To your spirit, and you know where you need to go. You just need to do it. And trust that the resources would be there to help you. You have everything you need. What we talked about, I'm pretty sure you don't need to create anything.
All right.
You literally just got to line it up.
Yeah.
And so nothing's stopping you. This isn't a huge investment you got to remake. You're not losing anything. It's just a revamp in order to accommodate your healing. We know healing is continual. And right now, your capacity to show up in everybody's lives isn't there. but they can have you through your evergreen stuff. That's why you did the work, you know, and we need to pull back and heal.
No, just
I know, I know. But guess what? If you still feel like I need to be in front of the camera, pre-record some shit.
no, yeah.
The issue is the live. That's the issue.
Right.
This takes a lot of energy, right? So, especially when you're working with clients and they're anxious, this energy is cool. We're chilling. They're having a kiki. But when you're on a phone with a client, you're trying to solve problems. Like their business is hemorrhaging money and you trying to fix it, and, you know, and all these other things. That's a different kind of energy, and it's a lot. And then you reach a boiling point and a boil over, and then now, oh, my throat hurts. Why my throat hurt? You know, because your body will give you cues that you need to rest, and when you don't do it, it'll make you rest because it is self-preserving. And if now I'm sick because I've been doing too much, right? We don't want that. So in order for you to build it into your everyday life, right? At least for right now, put shit out that don't need you actively all the time, right? If you want to say, hey, we meet once a month, and you could ask all your questions, ask me anything. It could be 2 hours long. It could be 3 hours long once a month, right? You need time to restore. You need time to get out in the sun. And I think it's the energy of the space. A lot of healers are being called out of active.
Oh, you went mute. You went mute. You went mute. Ty. You're muted. I don't know if you can still hear me. You're muted. Muted. I can't hear you.
Sorry. I put on Do Not Disturb and they let somebody come through. Ain't that a bitch?
Like she can't hear me. I'm telling her she muted. She don't hear me.
Because I have it on Do Not Disturb, but then somebody came through, but they didn't show me that the phone was ringing.
Right. So, that last part about you were talking about like us as healers being called back out of
active, out of active, more into passive, and actually letting them do their work. There's choices that are being made that we shouldn't have influence over. Mm-hmm. You might feel as though you don't have a lot to say lately. That's on purpose. Right? We've done a lot of talking. So utilize what you've already done. It's already there. All you got to do is lean into it and trust and believe that spirit got it. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense.
Mm-hmm. All right, my love. So on YouTube land. So what we did here, I know you guys might have heard me mention my archetypes, that she's a phoenix. That is part of my 6 archetypal system for manifestation. If you want to know yours, you can also do that below. But actually just hold off, because I actually have a workbook coming out that will take you from intention to actualization within a year, right? You'll be able to pretty much go month to month, building and actualizing your intentions and manifesting them strategically, right? So just, wait for that. That's coming. I'm working on it. I promise. All right, to YouTube land, we're going to see you later. And If you want the extended part of this, you could join the Patreon at patreon.com/Let's Get Blunt podcast. All right, my loves. Bye.